Hey guys, this is Ghostpit Miner coming at you from the power of YouTube through the internet itself. Okay guys, so in our small form factor build right here with the Ryzen 7 7800, definitely it's overheating with a Noctua small form factor cooler. We're going to do a little bit of an upgrade today, and we're going to put an all-in-one Corsair cooler in there. Stay tuned for this video guys, so I can show you how to do it. Okay guys, so this is with the Noctua NH-L9a for AM4. So for the Ryzen 7, we're going to go ahead and look at the thermals for Cinebench. Again, I am screen recording, so you'll see a decrease in performance on my CPU score, but we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so as you see before, I don't think I saved any of these, but I did get pretty high on my Ryzen 7 AMD. Probably one of these too. So we're going to go ahead and run the test and see how hot it gets. That's the whole point of this. It's not really to look at the score, but just to see how this Ryzen 7, how hot it gets off the Noctua. Keep in mind, I do have it overclocked to 3.75 gigahertz. So here we go, let me pull up the little temperature over here. So before we even started the test, you can see it definitely going above 70 degrees Celsius, which is definitely not good for the lifespan of the CPU, guys. You definitely want to keep it under at least 81 to have a good long life of the CPU. So here we go, you can hear the Noctua fan kicking up in speed. I do have it on a very aggressive fan speed setting, as you see over here. This really doesn't go over, I think it's 2600 RPM, so it really doesn't go that high, but it is a very small form factor fan and heatsink. So you can see rising over 90 degrees right here, 92. Very, very hot CPU, but you really don't see any thermal throttling at all, which is interesting. I don't know if that's just AMD Ryzen, but normally on Intel you'll definitely see a decrease in gigahertz right here, but still getting where I need to be. There's a notification telling me my CPU is going to blow up pretty much, but I have seen this CPU get above 100 degrees Celsius. So let's see what we get, guys. There it is, 101 degrees Celsius. Still no thermal throttling. You can hear the fans picking up. 102. We're at max fan speed and you don't see any temperature decrease. Okay, so that's the end of the test, but I just wanted to show you all how exactly hot this CPU gets with a overclock on it. Definitely you probably don't want to overclock your Ryzen 7 with this small form factor cooler from Noctua, because definitely you'll kill it. So you see that right there. Most of the time it doesn't reach over 101 unless you're doing video editing, which it does. So this is just a small test so you can see the temperatures right here. Again, we're just going to do Cinebench. Overall, it doesn't get that hot if you're playing a game. So I guess I'll play Overwatch for a little bit and I can show you the temperatures on that. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and play some Overwatch. Again, the computer that I built right now, the Node 202 case, was really not meant to play games. It only has a 560 Radeon graphics card in there, and that was really just to give it a display. The Ryzen 7 1700 really is, it doesn't have any integrated graphics, so definitely you need some sort of graphics card in there to make it run display. So right here you can see the frame rates. You can barely see the temperature, but we'll go ahead and do a training. We'll just do practice range. So you can already see it's at 79 degrees Celsius. We're not even playing anything yet. I wanted to show the settings of the video. So as you see there, 1920 by 1080, 60 frames a second. I can put it a little bit higher. Let's go ahead and increase it to something fun. Let's put it over here at 2560 by 1440. We'll keep it at low settings, and I'll hit apply. Okay, so definitely looks very, very crappy. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Again, what we're doing is looking at the temperature with the Noctua cooler, and we're not even playing a real match. So I mean, it can play games. Yes, the 560 is definitely a bottleneck over here. I can probably maybe increase the settings a little higher because I'm hitting over 70 frames a second. So you can see I'm already hitting 86 degrees Celsius with this Noctua cooler. This is not very good, guys. Pretty bad. There we go. So again, you don't want to be playing a game and thermal throttling or just heating up your room so hot, pretty much. And definitely with this small overclock, you can get the Ryzen 7 pretty much up to 3.8 easily, with like 1.35 volts, so all cores. So we're definitely having some issues with this little tiny small form factor Noctua cooler. And one of the main reasons why I'm switching out for a water cooler is because when I'm editing videos, it goes over 100 degrees Celsius, and some of the videos I make are pretty long, so you don't want it to be at a prolonged heat like that. Definitely will kill your CPU a lot faster. So 86 degrees Celsius is definitely hot, but not as hot as video editing or the Cinebench test. Let's go ahead and end this, guys. So you can see right there. So let's go ahead and put in our all-in-one cooler from Corsair and see if it does any difference. Okay, so you can see the current layout of the Noctua fan. Very, very small form factor. Look at that small heat sink. Pretty small stuff. Definitely not a lot of area to hold heat, and definitely a really small fan on this CPU cooler. But this is what works with this type of case. Again, these are really famous, are really popular with the small form factor case builds, but definitely not for overclocking, definitely not for a Ryzen 1700. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is pulling out these Noctua Redux fans. They don't really do anything because this, you know, $60 560 is not heating up at all. So I'll pull those out to make some more space in there for my all-in-one cooler, which will go here. It's just a 120 millimeter cooler that's going to go right there. And you see there's a little issue. You're going to have to get some type of tool to cut in here so you can have the water loop get through here. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing today. Stay tuned, guys, and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so let's get this cooler off of here. So there's two things you can do. I'm gonna try to do it kind of the lazy man way, just push it up just a little bit. We'll put that back in right now. Because the thing is, there's a lot of wires attached back here. Just kind of trying to make it easier on myself for later. Okay, so I guess I just have to unplug some of these cables. Okay, here we go. Let's go and take this off. Again, probably a good cooler for like an i3. Not an unlocked version, of course. It's a regular CPU. You don't have to worry about thermal issues. But definitely, I'm gonna say the stock Ryzen cooler that comes with this is probably a lot better at cooling this CPU. So let's put that over there, and it should just pop straight off. There we go. It's still hot. It's crazy. Okay, so you have to put the stock bracket system back on before installing your H60 Corsair all-in-one cooler. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so like I was saying before, we're going to have to cut this little area of the case away. I'm using a little power tool. I got it from Harbor Freight for $19. That's what I had on hand. Probably a good pair of wire snippers can probably do the job just fine too. But if you want to get it a little bit more technical, you can use this. It does a pretty good job. So again, you just want to cut enough area away to fit the water loop through there. So just cut that away. Make sure to watch out for your fingers, of course, and any type of power cables, because you definitely don't want to cut your power cables. So just enough room, just like that. Okay, and now we're just going to run the loop through there to test fit it, and that should be enough to fit it in. So let's go ahead and finish this up, guys. Let's mount the radiator, and let's go ahead and test it out. Okay, so this is the way your pretty much loop should look, nice and smooth, going right through the cut you made. And now let's go ahead and form fit everything in there to make sure it fits. What I'm going to be doing with this case is I'm doing a pull configuration. I'm pulling the air through the radiator to cool off the CPU. So I'm going to go ahead and put my fan cable all the way over here to the front of the header to make it easier in the future to make sure it's actually going to be able to reach. So let's go ahead and screw this down and see if it decreases the temperature on my rig. Okay, so I actually had to take off the GPU shroud because it was not fitting between the all-in-one cooler. So I just took it off, and I also took off the fan just to see if that would fit. Overall, I think it's probably going to heat up, so I'm probably going to have to do some modifications to the fan. Probably decrease the size, but let's go ahead and try it out and see what happens. Okay guys, so after doing some slight modifications to the Radeon RX 560s, pretty much the whole card, I took off the shroud to fit it in there. Then I noticed I did have to make some modifications as seen in the picture. You can see actually I had to cut down the fins of the fan to actually fit it in there. Mostly because the fins of the fan were still touching the CPU all-in-one cooler. So I took that off. But let's go ahead and look at these temperature guys. So far, very good temperatures on both the Ryzen 7 and the RX 560 with the decreased size in the fan. Fan super quiet on both. It's almost inaudible, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and run Cinebench again. And keep in mind the scores are going to be a lot lower than what they should be, because I'm running a multi-camera setup right now just to actually capture the screen. So let's go ahead and hit run. What we're looking for again is to compare temperatures. Last time we did this, guys, as you saw before, we got up to a max temperature of 102 degrees Celsius, which was crazy hot. And that was running off the Noctua NH-L9a for the AM4 chipset. So again, super hot. You know, it's really unbearable, especially as a workstation. So what I have the computer for is to render video. So I was getting 102 degrees Celsius on rendering videos, which was horrible. At 100% on the CPU, it's still not getting over 64 degrees Celsius. So that's an amazing increase already, or an amazing decrease in temperature, which is very worth the modifications that you have to do to the Node 202 from Fractal Design. And you can't even hear it. You can't even hear it hum. You can hear my refrigerator over it. So I mean, super quiet build, man. Awesome stuff. So far, it looks like a success. It's not getting over 65 degrees Celsius on Cinebench, which is amazing, amazing. And this Ryzen 1700 is overclocked to 3.75 gigahertz. You can probably hit 4.0 with this type of cooler on here easily. So definitely I would say this is a win for CPU. You just really would have to, if you want to make a gaming rig out of this, definitely you'd have to get a small form factor GPU, a single slots GPU, like a mini, maybe 270. But you would have to look at the specs, because with this $60 RX 560, I wasn't too afraid to take everything apart because it's only $60. I wasn't afraid to cut the fans apart because again it's $60. But as you see, the temperature is doing great on both. So overall, that's a pretty good win. I really don't pay attention to these scores right here because I am doing other things at the same time. Okay, so let's go to play some Overwatch. As you see, CPU is only at 50 degrees Celsius. What I'm kind of worried about is the GPU, because I did decrease the fan size and I took off the shroud. All I'm trying to do, guys, is just to make sure that I'm not getting higher than 80 degrees on my GPU. CPU is doing amazing. Again, before we were doing about 82 to 84 degrees Celsius playing Overwatch. With the CPU, a GPU, I don't remember exactly what the temperatures were on that, but so far both are doing okay. I mean, I don't see my GPU getting hotter than 70 degrees Celsius, so that's not too bad. And I don't hear any fan noise from either one of them. So I think this was a pretty good success overall. The main point of this video was to really decrease the temperatures that the Noctua small form factor cooler was giving me. I mean, that was horrible temps, guys. I mean, when I was rendering videos, it was just going over 102 degrees Celsius for like 10 minutes straight. I had to shut it down. I did not want to kill my card at all. So definitely, this is a win. So I'm going to go play some B-roll of this machine, guys. Let's go ahead and check it out. Awesome, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. Again, please like if you like, dislike if you disliked, and just comment down below if you have any questions or concerns about my rig. I'll see you in the next video. Ghost Pit Miner.